This podcast contains explicit language.
Bafangu!
Houston, flight is go.
Mila, let's go. STM. Safety contact.
From Assignment X, thesoniashow.com, and Amalgamated Storytelling, this is the Dorking Out Show, the podcast for people who love stories from movies, TV, books, podcasts, and everywhere else.
Welcome to episode 119 of Dorking Out. This is the Who's Your Daddy edition. My name is Sonia Mansfield. My regular co-host, Christopher Allen Smith, is still on sabbatical, but joining me today is a very special guest. Longtime readers of my blog, The Sonia Show, know him as the man. It's my dad. I do want to say in advance, the sound on this isn't super awesome because my dad didn't sit as close to the mic as he should. He was probably afraid I was going to hug him. But I still think it's worth putting out there because we have a really good conversation about old movies and Westerns and why he loves movies and how he raised a daughter that does. So enjoy. Thanks for coming on my dorky podcast, Dad.
You're welcome.
You're a nice man sometimes.
Sometimes.
So I'm going to give our listeners a little backstory. I think it's safe to say that we probably don't have a lot in common.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah. You're really into hunting and camping, and I'm a vegan whose idea of roughing it is staying in a hotel that doesn't have a blow dryer. But we do have these two things in common. We both super love baseball, and we both super love movies. Yeah? That's accurate, right?
Kind of.
Kind of?
Yeah.
As in, you don't super love movies?
Well, I don't go to movies.
No, but that's funny you bring that up. So one of the things I've talked about a bit on the show before is, like, how do we get to the point? Like, why do I love movies? Like, who did I get it from, quote unquote? Who did I get it from? And I was thinking about it, and both of you guys love movies, but in different ways. So, because Mom loves to go to the theater and, like, buy a ticket and see it in the theater. But you love movies, but you don't go to the theater. That's you watch them at home. So now I'm going to see if I'm remembering this correctly. Weren't we one of the first people on the block to get, like, HBO or like some sort of paid movie channel, right? And like neighbors used to come over and like we would watch like The Shining or whatever they were showing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know you stopped going to the movie theater, and I think this is a funny story, so that's why I brought it up. The last movie you saw in the theater was Jurassic Park.
Yes.
In 93.
Yes.
And what happened when you saw Jurassic Park in the theater?
Well, your mother had to wake me up.
Yeah.
She had to wake me up. She said, you might want to see this part.
And then before that, you hadn't been to the theater since Pale Rider in like 86.
Right.
And why did you stop going to the movies?
It was a waste of money. Because I would just go in and get dark and I'd fall asleep.
Because you work really hard. I should say that. It's not like the movies are so boring or something like that. It's because you did like hard labor, I would say. Worked really hard. You're not like me where you're sitting in a cube all day. Like
I
behind
was a construction worker and I worked 2 jobs.
Yeah, so you're like, it's nighttime. Night, good night. You would just go to sleep. Well, also, didn't you tell me that everybody was talking during the movie and that made you mad?
That was Pale Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah. That particular one. Yeah. But other than that.
Because I remember you coming home and you were really mad that you wanted to see the movie and everybody was like, it was like a big party and everyone was talking and you were annoyed.
Yeah.
By the way, nothing's changed. Everyone still does that.
Then it's a good reason for me not to be
Yeah,
there.
they have theaters now where like that's their thing, like that they will absolutely kick you out for that, and they'll serve you beer. So FYI, if that
Times are getting better.
Yeah. So I feel like we were always watching movies at home. So you mentioned and I said I wanted to talk to you about old movies, or any movie, really, and you picked Rio Bravo with John Wayne.
Yeah.
Why did you pick Rio Bravo?
I don't know. It just...
Because
It
you
was
had...
a John Wayne movie that I watch a lot.
Yeah.
I used to. I hadn't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
So, and I made myself sit down and watch it again yesterday.
Yeah. And did you like it? You love John Wayne.
Oh, yeah. All
Why
John Wayne movies.
Why do you love John Wayne?
I don't know. Just grew up with him. And actually, he started his movie career in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And so from the time I was born, when his movies, when they came on, that was a big thing.
Right.
So,
Well, he was like one of the biggest movie stars in the world.
well, yeah. Until, when did he die? He died in the 70s, I think.
Is it?
I've forgotten now. I think it was in the 70s.
I know that you have like kind of a stack of newspapers that you've saved that have big headlines on them, and one of them is John Wayne dying.
It's in the closet
Yeah.
somewhere.
79. He died in
79.
79. He had stomach cancer, right?
Was it stomach cancer? It was cancer of some kind.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
Fucking cancer.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. So is Rio Bravo your favorite John Wayne?
Yeah, I think probably that one. And then, of course, we talked about it before, but El Dorado, which is essentially the same movie.
Right. And then I looked it up because we were talking about, so they remade Rio Bravo as El Dorado, and then they also remade it as Rio Lobo. Do you know Rio
That one
Lobo?
I don't know.
Apparently it's also a John Wayne movie that is almost the same story.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up. I may have seen it and I just don't remember.
Yeah, it says 1970.
It was
I've
66, I think, was
El Dorado.
El Dorado.
Yeah. Why do you think they keep remaking that story? That same story?
It's sold.
Yeah.
It was just that simple.
Did you ever see Assault on Precinct 13?
Yes.
Apparently that movie's very inspired by Rio Bravo. I've never seen it, and I was thinking about rewatching it.
It's been, I have no idea how many years since I saw that.
Yeah. The old one. I think there's like a newer one too, but I haven't seen
the old one.
I haven't seen the new one either. So I need to watch it though. It's on
There's
the old one's on my list.
There's a lot of them that are, I haven't seen in years. I mean, I know of them, and I've saw them and probably seen them half a dozen times or more. Mm-hmm. But I haven't seen them, watched them in years.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of, you can see a lot of John Wayne stuff where it's the same story. Basically, if you really want to look at it and nitpick it, it's basically the same story. I mean, whether it be a war movie or one of his cowboy movies, or he had that little stint where he did what was he, a private detective or a cop or something.
It was like McHugh or something like that.
Those.
Yeah.
But there was 2 or 3 of those, and they were all the
Right.
same basic movie. It was just, they rearranged things a little bit.
Right.
But if it was John Wayne, it sold. It was just that simple.
Yeah.
So
It's so funny that he's just kind of made the same movie over and over. People were like, that's cool. Like they were just on board.
oh yeah.
Do you think there's a modern equivalent to John Wayne?
I really don't know. I don't see many
Yeah.
modern movies.
I don't think that's true. I think you do see modern movies. You just don't see them in the theater.
You know, I see-
Like you've seen all those, what I've been calling dad movies, those like Going in Style and Las Vegas, and
Yeah.
you see all those.
Las Vegas. What was the other?
And you
one?
watch the new westerns that come out. Like you
Some
probably
of 'em.
like. Did you see the new Magnificent Seven remake? And
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I thought that was
It was
good.
pretty good. The one I still haven't seen is Hateful Eight.
You'll super love the Hateful Eight. You will totally fucking love the Hateful Eight. I can't believe you haven't watched it yet.
I haven't seen it anywhere. I haven't been able
I
to
think
find
it's
it.
streaming on Netflix now, but you should watch it because you'll super love it. Like not only is it a Western, but it's just got all these people in it that you love. Like, it's got Kurt Russell, and it's got Walter Goggins from The Shield, and, like, he's in it. You'll like that, and it's good.
Well, I think
it's really smart.
Time we looked on Netflix, it wasn't on. Couldn't find it anyway, so. But I'll look again.
Yeah.
Or you'll look again.
I will. So I watched Rio Bravo. This is my first time seeing it. And I couldn't get over seeing Dean Martin in that kind of role, because it's kind of a serious role for him. Like, he's playing a drunk who's trying to be sober and, like, be a good, like, deputy. And to me, Dean Martin is the drunk guy from the Cannonball Run movies. Like, I know, logically, I'm like, yes, Dean Martin made lots of movies. He made lots of awesome movies with, like, Jerry Lewis that people super love. And I've never seen those movies, but people love him. And he's a popular singer and things like that. But to me, I was like, he's the drunk guy from the Cannonball Run movies. And he dressed as a priest and drove around with Sammy Davis Jr. So to see him in, like, this movie, I was like, he's actually really good in it.
Well, he was probably a better actor than people gave him credit for.
Right.
But it just kind of, it's a Dean Martin thing. It typically, probably people more my age would remember or see him more as an actor than people of your age.
Right.
Because you don't remember him when he was making movies all the time. So.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, I had someone on a couple weeks ago on the podcast named Margot, and we were talking about true crime movies. And I was talking about that documentary about O.J. Simpson that came out. It was called, like, Made in America or something like that. It's really, really great. And it tells you, like, all the history about O.J. Simpson. And to me, like, O.J. Simpson was like, he's the guy from the Naked Gun movies. Or, like, you know, I recognize him from a commercial. Like, I didn't realize, like, what a big deal O.J. Simpson was back in the day. So it just made, like, everything that happened seemed, like, crazier and more sad and frustrating or whatever. But, like, it's just funny, these older stars than what we know them as. And I don't know. I'm wondering who the equivalent would be now that, like, Lorelai's like, oh, you mean blank, the guy from blank. That Lorelai, by the way, is my niece, your granddaughter. Like, there's probably someone that I was like, well, so-and-so's from, I know him, you know, because he's, like, a great actor. Like Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges has done, like, awesome movies, is, like, a legit good actor, but Lorelai's probably like, oh, you mean the guy from, like, The Big Lebowski. It's, like, all she'll know him for.
Yeah. Well, probably for her would be more, what's his name? I can't think of his name at the moment. Harrison Ford.
Right.
She would remember more of because of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And on and on and on. But she would be more into that, so she would know more about that. Than say a Dean Martin.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. She doesn't know who Dean Martin is. Well, I'm sure she's never seen Cannonball Run. We're not raising her right if she hasn't seen Cannonball Run 1 or 2. That's not right. Actually, Harrison Ford's like kind of a John Wayne-esque person, right?
That's kind of what I was saying for this.
Yeah.
For that era, maybe.
Yeah.
Because of the Indiana Jones and all that. Now, and because of that, she would remember him for that Star Wars, that type of thing.
But he's like John Wayne in that, like, his movies are all kind of the same. Like, he doesn't necessarily, he doesn't, like, mix it up, really. Like, I know he's been offered parts that he was like, like, he doesn't do, like, movies like Traffic and stuff, because they're, like, I don't know, they're too serious, or, like, he doesn't play that kind of role very often.
Yeah, he did some of them.
Well, he did, like, Witness, and that's different. Sabrina and Mosquito Coast and things, but, like, mainly he's, you know, Air Force One, you know, Clear and Present Danger. Yeah. And those are, like, totally Harrison Ford movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. but I like Harrison Ford movies. So I guess he would be the closest equivalent I can think of for me.
At this
yeah.
point in time.
And I super love Harrison Ford. It's the reason I went and saw Solo, even though he's not in it.
Yeah.
That reminds me, we used to watch Star Trek together all the time when I was a kid.
You know, you keep telling me that. I remember watching Star Trek, but I don't remember watching it.
It was just always on.
Religiously. But
I think it was just...
Maybe we did, but I don't remember.
I think it was just on every day at the same time, and like you would come home from work and put something on, and it was always Star Trek. But we used to watch Star Trek. But I remember going to see the movie in the theater with you, and you say that didn't happen, but...
Well, I'm not going to say it didn't happen,
yeah.
But I don't remember.
Maybe you fell asleep.
I might have.
Have you seen any of the new Star Trek movies? No? None of them?
Uh-huh.
They're actually pretty entertaining. Or at least 2 of them are. 2 of the 3. It's not bad.
I don't think even when Star Trek changed over, went to whatever took its place. I can't remember now. I don't think I ever watched any of those.
Oh, all the other Star Treks?
Yeah,
like
all the other Star
yeah,
Trek
like
stuff that came on TV types.
Yeah, well, there was like Next Generation and Voyager and Deep Space. You didn't watch any of that. You watched old school,
Yeah.
like Captain Kirk, Spock, McCoy,
Yeah.
Star Trek. That's my favorite Star Trek. That's my favorite. So I was kind of cracking up about in Rio Bravo with the Walter Brennan character.
He's great.
Because he's like the total stereotype. Like he's the basis for like so many of these kind of characters where they like talk like old timey Western characters, and he has a limp and he's got like this crazy voice, and he's actually really entertaining. And I was like, who is that? Because like I'd never seen the movie before, so I looked it up, and he's like won 3 Academy Awards. Like he's like this. I can't believe that I didn't know who he was, because I'm kind of an Oscar dork, and I was just so fascinated by that part with that voice. And he really is like, I mean, he's the comic relief in that movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's he played.
He was in a lot of Howard Hawks movies, apparently.
Yeah, and he played the kind of that part in several movies.
Yeah, but is his voice always like that? Like that weird, kind of high pitched?
In his earlier days, no. But that kind of became the signature, I think. But in his earlier days, he actually played a few like cop mysteries and things like that. And no, he didn't have that particular. Well, he had the voice, but he didn't have the slang, I guess.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. He has like this old timey. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was that particular voice, I guess, is what you'd call it, is pretty noticeable. And even if you didn't know who he was and he was in another movie, you would recognize the voice if you'd seen this movie. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like there were a ton of characters that were like that in later movies, usually playing cooks.
Yeah.
You know, like in old-timey Westerns, that have that like kind of old-timey slang and the voice, and you know, maybe they're missing some teeth. And like,
it was an attitude thing.
Yeah. It's such a strange movie because he's kind of cartoony, but he's fun. And then there's like Dean Martin, and it's like this kind of serious thing that he's trying not to drink, and you feel really bad for him. But then there's like Angie Dickinson. She was hot stuff
when she was young.
Yeah, hot stuff. And like her character's like almost like out of a film noir, like the way she is and the way she talks. And I read that her lines, a lot of them are based on like Lauren Bacall and To Have Not, which didn't surprise me because she does have this like weird film noir type character. But then as the movie progresses, her character gets kind of almost screwball, like kind of like, oh, you, like, you know, you have to ask, you know, I'm not hard to get, you just have to ask, or, you know, all this stuff. And she seems kind of almost she started out as like femme fatale, and then it like kind of gets screwball comedy by the end for her.
Yeah. She gets a little aggressive, passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I guess would be what. It just. I don't even know how to explain it. It goes beyond anything that you would ever think would really happen.
Yeah.
But and then of course the age difference. You look at that.
Sure.
And go, really?
So it's kind of gross.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking gross, and not that there's anything wrong with the age.
Actually, the age difference is actually by Hollywood standards, it's really not that gross. Well, actually, because he's like 51 maybe, and she's like 26, which, you know, is quite an age difference. But by Hollywood standards, it's pretty standard. Like, they're all that way. Like, every Michael Douglas movie in the 90s was like that kind of age difference.
Yeah. Of course, he's not supposed to be 50 in the movie.
Yeah. Well, and they still do that with Tom Cruise. Like, I saw, in some of the Mission Impossibles, or like I saw that awful, awful Mummy remake or whatever that he made. It's terrible. And they're still making movies with Tom Cruise like he's 30-something. Like, he's playing characters that are like 30-something, but he's obviously not 30-something. And like the female leads are always way too young for him now. It's I'm like, you can't see me, but I'm shaking my head like, ugh.
He's getting to the age now where he doesn't need to be doing his own stunts.
Yeah. But I saw the most recent Mission Impossible movie. It was really good. It was really fun. I don't really, Tom Cruise like rubs me the wrong way, but like didn't he break his ankle or something? Probably.
In that movie?
Probably. I know Harrison Ford broke some bones making Force Awakens. Maybe you're thinking of that.
No, I think it was Tom Cruise.
It could be, because he does his own stunts.
Or something, jumping from one building to another.
Probably.
And it wasn't that long ago.
Well, he made a new Mission Impossible movie that's coming out this summer. So maybe that's what he did.
Yeah, it could be.
He doesn't need to be doing his own stunts, but it's kind of cool because everything is so digital now. Like, the idea that somebody is still doing like kind of old-fashioned stunts is kind of awesome. Like Jackie Chan, and you know, he does his own stunts.
Yeah. And I'm sure that if I was in my 40s and an actor, I'd probably been doing my own.
I have no doubt that's true, Dad.
But just some point you have to go, no, I'm too old for that.
But you would never say that. You don't even do that now. You don't even admit to being too old to do things now.
More and more every year.
What are some of your other favorite movies?
I'd have to think about that one.
Well, you should be thinking about it. You think about it, and I'll start listing some random ones that I associate with you because you watched them a lot, and I don't know if you admit that they're your favorite. And I brought this up a couple weeks ago. You super love Footloose.
Yeah,
1984's Footloose with Kevin Bacon.
I liked it because of the music.
Yeah. But you also... It always cracked me up that you super love this like random character in the movie that runs the mill or something. Oh, yeah. And he's like, you know, kind of a, I don't know, plain spoken dude.
Common sense.
Yeah. But you always like him, and you'd like point him out, like, oh, I like that guy, or, you know, that's a great character or something. And it's just...
He was the only one in the movie with common sense.
That's true. He's the only one
He's the only one in the movie with common sense.
He's not freaking out.
There is no common in common sense anymore.
That's true. Maybe we need more characters like that guy in the real world.
In real life.
Yeah.
If you use common sense in real life, that solves a lot of problems.
That is not our way now, Dad.
Well, that's why I say it's not common anymore.
You also super love Grease. Is that another one because you like the music? Or
I like the music, but it's, there again, it's that 50s type era movie.
Yeah.
So...
Did it ever bother you that Stockard Chaney's like in her 30s playing a 16-year-old?
Was she in her 30s?
Yeah.
God, I thought she was older than that. Well, none of them were spring chickens.
No.
None of them, but, whatever. I never thought too much about it. You got the same, there again in, what was the other one? Grease 2, I guess.
Yeah. They're all too old.
Yeah, too old to be doing it, but...
Do you like Grease 2?
It's all entertainment.
Yeah. Do you like Grease 2?
I watch it when it comes on.
I like Grease 2 a lot, actually.
I watch it when it comes on. But it's the same thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just entertainment. I can watch anything for entertainment. I don't have to analyze it.
Yeah. You gave me some really good advice once when I was working as a TV critic, and I couldn't understand why people weren't watching like a show that was really good, that was low rated at the time. I'm trying to remember what it was, but I was like, why do people watch something like According to Jim, but they don't watch this show that's really good? And you said, well, not everybody wants a show that makes them think. Sometimes people just come home from work and they just want, like, mindless, might make them laugh or not. Like,
Just be entertained.
yeah. And I was like, that's a really good thing that, like, it gave me, like, a pause. I had to, like, take a step back and think about it. Because I'm writing about it, like, day in and day out and looking at it with, like, such a critical eye that I was forgetting that, hey, most people don't do this for a living. Like, they come home from work, they're fucking tired, and they put on According to Jim and they fall asleep on the couch or whatever. Like, it was good advice.
Yeah, well, it's what
By the way, I know you probably really like According to Jim, and I don't mean to shit all over it, but...
It is what it is. It's like, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Right.
Or they should be.
Right.
It's not necessarily that way in this world anymore, but it's the way it should be.
Right.
But it just kind of, it is what it is. You just kind of, like I was saying with back in years ago, I told you the problem with critics was that there had to be a storyline, there had to be a plot, there had to be whatever. They couldn't just go to a movie for entertainment. Just go to be entertained. No, it had to have all the elements.
Yeah.
Where I think, not most people, but a lot of people, it's just entertainment.
Yeah. They're just looking for a little escape.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
Does a movie have to have that to be, all the elements to be good? I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I can go to a movie. Well, I'm not going to.
I can watch a movie.
I can watch a movie, and it doesn't have to be the greatest movie in the world. But if it entertains me, then I'm going to like the movie, or I might say, hey, I'll watch that again.
Right.
So, I mean, come on, Grease is not the most complex movie in the world.
No,
but
it really isn't.
Entertainment.
Yeah, it is very entertaining movie. I love Grease. There's parts about it, though, that I'm like, well, that doesn't age very well, but I still super love it.
Well, there's a lot of things that go on in Grease that went on in real life, and they portrayed that, but, of course, didn't elaborate on it. And, I mean, it was days when you'd drive a car into the show with one person in it, and then get there and unlock the trunk. And, as many people as you could fit in the trunk got out. I can remember doing that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, did you do that?
Absolutely, we did that. And then
because there's a drive-in. My parents live in Concord. There's actually a drive-in here, and it still works. It's still an operating drive-in, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the drive-in you guys would go to?
Well, that one, at that time, that wasn't even there.
Oh, the Solano wasn't there?
No, there was one on Concord Avenue, and there was one in Pleasant Hill over by where Smart and Final is now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
There
that.
used to be a movie theater.
I only
there,
remember the
or a
Solano drive-in.
Yeah, there was Solano over off Concord Avenue. There was one, the Solano drive-in. Not Solano. I forgot the name of it now. May have been Concord Drive-In. But there was one there, and then there was one in Pleasant Hill. And that was the only two I could think of right off the top of my head. Of course, they had a Hilltop or El Rancho in San Pablo.
What would you see at the drive-in?
Everything.
Yeah.
If it was a movie, you could see it there.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, that's what. Well, I don't know about everybody's family, but our family, when we were kids, that's what we did. We didn't go to the theater.
Yeah.
My parents couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
So we'd go to Wednesday night was what they call buck night.
Mm-hmm.
It was however many people you could fit in a car for $1. And $1 to get in. And
Yeah.
my mother would make
Popcorn at home.
in a grocery bag.
Yeah.
And we'd have popcorn and they'd take iced tea or whatever in a jug, and that was it.
Yeah.
So we didn't buy anything, and we went in, and they had the little speakers that hung on the window, and of course Dad had the control of how loud it could be.
Of course. And he didn't want it very loud?
No, you'd have it up.
Yeah.
Of course, the older he got, the louder it got.
Do you remember any of the movies that you saw?
No, not as a kid. I don't remember.
I remember Mom took us to the drive-in, and they was showing Jaws, and that's pretty inappropriate for my age at the time. I was probably 4 or 5.
I think we took you to the drive-in.
Yeah.
Me and your mom, and that's what we saw was Jaws.
Yeah. Like there was some movie
But
before
I think
it.
that's the last time I ever went to a drive-in.
Yeah.
Was Jaws.
Like that would be what, 76?
It was in
Jaws?
the 70s.
Yeah. So I was probably like 5. Let's look it up. 75. So I was probably 4.
Yeah.
I remember it played it had some like kid, it had like a family movie before it, like a Gus the mule that kicks footballs or something stupid that I was like, yay, and then Jaws started and I was like, what? Like it sounds really scary. I'm all, when did Gus come out? Let's look that one up too. It was like Gus the mule the movie, like it's 76, so maybe that wasn't it. But I also remember, like, we used to watch, I remember watching, like, Salem's Lot here with you once, and that being really scary.
I don't remember that.
Here at the house. It was on, like, HBO, or it was some, like, rainy day, and you were just chilling on the couch watching Salem's Lot, and I was like, what's this? And, like, came and sat down and being absolutely terrified. And you were like, hey, you need to go out back, and, like, we had rabbits, and I was like, I'm too scared. I don't want to go out there by myself. I think I made Michelle go with me.
Could be. There's some of that I don't remember, just mainly because I probably wasn't really interested.
You just had it on.
I was just vegging on the couch and just something on for noise and whatever.
Yeah.
So, we didn't have 300 TV stations like we have now.
No. We had like 4 and HBO or something. Maybe 4.
Well, you had your normal, whatever your locals were.
Yeah.
And then you had, I think we had HBO, or it could have been, what's the other
It was like HBO or Showtime.
Could have been Showtime or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we had Showtime for a while.
Yeah.
In fact, that may have been the first one we had, and that's when all the neighbors used to come over.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, I mean, I think even Claire used to come over. Because there was no way he was going to pay for TV.
Claire is my dad, like one of my dad's longest friends, and Dad always gives him shit for being cheap. You said he won't even buy a new belt or pants that fit, or like you're always giving him shit for being so cheap.
Well, that's my job.
Mm-hmm. It's what you do to your friends.
Yeah, I know.
It's what I do to Smith when he's not here. Smith's taking a break from our show, and I've just been telling people he's like in rehab and shit like that. Like I'm like not telling anybody the truth, because that's what you do to your friends.
That's what happens. If you're going to leave the show,
you shouldn't. You shouldn't have left me here.
Should have been here to defend yourself.
That's right. I also remember, like, I feel like you super love Burt Reynolds movies.
I saw most of them, or a lot of them.
Like, I remember we watched a lot of Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, Stroker Ace.
Stroker Ace. That one really hasn't aged well. I don't know if you want to revisit that one. But like he made a lot of other ones. Like, what's the one where he's like a stuntman, or was it Sharky's Machine, or
Cooper? Was it
something like that? I just remember you watched a lot of Burt Reynolds movies back in the day.
Hooper? Was it? Maybe it was Hooper.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I know he did. Didn't he do one called Sharky's Machine?
Sharky's Machine. Then he did a couple of those where he'd just gotten out of prison, and
yeah.
I don't remember the name of them.
And of course, there's Deliverance.
Oh yeah, well everybody knows Deliverance.
Yeah.
That's back when he was young, still had hair, real hair.
Real hair. Hooper. You're right. It's Hooper. Yeah, Sharky's Machine, that was 81. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a cute one.
Those were good. And of course you love Clint Eastwood.
Oh, yeah. All the spaghetti westerns stuff
yeah.
and all that.
Do you have a favorite Clint Eastwood?
Probably, well, just about any of the spaghetti western ones.
Like the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I think of the 3 or 4 that he did as spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, those are awesome.
That's probably the best one.
I like Unforgiven a lot.
A few dollars more, a fistful of dollars.
Yeah. I like Unforgiven a lot.
Unforgiven was pretty good. That was pretty good. But that was, there again, that was not... it was a good part for him in the sense that it's still a lot of the same attitude as the spaghetti western, Clint Eastwood. But he
brought all that baggage with him to that role. He needed it. Yeah. You needed a Clint Eastwood for that kind of role.
Yeah, but it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah. You know, I read that Mel Brooks offered John Wayne a role in Blazing Saddles. I think the role that Gene Wilder plays. But John Wayne said no because it was too dirty. But he said that he would be first in line to go see it when it came out.
Oh, I could see that.
I don't know if John Wayne would have been right for that role, but I think it's really funny that he was like, no, that's too dirty. I'm not doing that. But that's a good movie. Blazing Saddles is awesome.
Well, yeah. It was a movie that I probably only saw a couple of times, but it was funny.
I feel like you would super love it because it's making fun of all these westerns that you grew up watching.
No, I watched it a couple of times. I saw it a couple of times.
Yeah.
It was like there was.
You were like, it's no Spaceballs.
Spaceballs was another funny one. I will watch that when it comes on TV every now and then.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I watch it every now and then.
I have movies I think everyone has movies like that when you see it's on, you're all sweet. And I'm
not going to let it stop me from going out in the garage and go to work, but if I got nothing else going on,
right.
I'll sit and watch it.
You'll watch Spaceballs? What else?
Spaceballs. I don't know. Blazing Saddles might be one of them. There's some others like that. I just can't think of it.
I feel like Footloose was always... I know we already talked about Footloose, but Footloose was always on. Wasn't it just always on TBS? It was like the Footloose channel. Like if you could, and Beastmaster. That's the other movie I was trying to think. I was like, what is the movie that was always on here?
I watched Beastmaster a bunch.
Yeah, I think TBS was like TBS standard for the Beastmaster station because like it was always on.
Yeah,
and we watched that movie a lot.
I'm trying to think I can't remember who the actor was.
Mark Singer?
Is that who it was?
Yeah. And then there was like John Amos. Right?
Amos.
And then like Tanya Roberts. God,
I
can't believe I remember as much about this movie as I do, actually. It's probably just burned in my brain. We really did watch it all the time.
I had John Amos is probably he's known for other things, but that movie for me is what he stood out for. And it was funny because I was in the airport coming back or going to somewhere, and I heard this voice, and I go, "What the hell?" I turn on, and it's him, John Amos, and he's right standing there right beside me. And so I just said hi to him, and I mean, he started talking to me like he'd known me forever. And
he sounds very nice.
It just amazed me. I mean,
and did you say, I fucking love the Beastmaster, man. That shit's awesome.
I didn't get that far. I don't tend to do that.
I don't know if I would have done that either, but I'll pretend that I would.
I'm sure I would not have ever done that anyway.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that doesn't ask people for autographs.
Right.
Their autograph for me is the fact that I got to meet them.
Yeah.
And I got their autograph for me in my memory. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, I meet a lot of people that if you could probably get autographs from.
Sure.
But I don't.
Like you met Guy Fieri, right?
I didn't meet him.
Oh, no, Mom did.
But no, I saw him at the show.
Right.
At the convention.
Yeah.
And,
it's like a hunting convention.
Yeah. At SCI. And so I was there, and he was talking to a guy that I needed to talk to. Mm-hmm. And when he got done talking to him, I did what I had to do with the guy, and then I went back over and told your mother.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
I was looking for him.
Yeah, because you guys are big fans. You watch Diners Drive. It was on when I was here the other day.
Yeah, we watch it a lot. So they have some cool stuff on there.
I watch that show all the time, too.
They have some cool stuff.
Mom introduced me to that show. It's comfort. It's like a comfort show.
Yeah. But it's, we done, I did of course, big Tom Selleck fan.
Yeah.
Of course, your mother's in love with him.
Yeah. And she most certainly is. You love Quigley Down Under.
Yeah.
And I've actually never seen Quigley Down Under. Can you believe that? Because I know you super love it.
I can't believe that. I thought everybody's seen Quigley.
I have not seen it.
I have it in there.
Yeah, maybe I'll borrow it from you and watch it. Didn't you buy like a gun that's a replica or something?
I bought the Quigley gun, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's so cool.
Right after he made the movie, of course, I bought the gun, and then he was at the show, and he was there trying on a leather coat and whatnot, and we were there, and I tried to get your mother to go over.
She wouldn't do it,
and she wouldn't get near him.
Yeah.
She wouldn't get near. Dan and I both tried to get her to go over. We were going to go over and get him and just have him come see her.
No, she
wasn't having any part of it.
No, she loves him. She super loves Tom Selleck. She probably is afraid like it would like ruin the fantasy, like that she would say something that like embarrass herself or like I don't know. I guess I could understand that if I like ran into like someone that I super loved. I don't know if I would be able to like pull it together. I might watch from afar
They're just
like
people.
a psycho.
They're just people.
I know, it's so stupid. It's
just
so
people.
stupid to like get kind of starstruck about stuff like that. But that's so funny that like mom had a chance to meet him and she like couldn't do it.
She wouldn't have no part.
Because she'll watch like every stupid thing Tom Selleck makes,
Oh, yeah.
like every crappy TV show or awful TV movie, or like she loves it. She loves it. Like when he was on Friends, it was probably like her favorite thing ever.
Oh, could be. Could be.
You think she just likes a dude with a mustache?
I don't know. Maybe. Why not? I've had one for 50 years.
Yeah, that's true.
More than 50.
David and I did a podcast a couple weeks ago about baseball movies, and
With Tom Selleck?
we didn't talk about the Tom Selleck movie. Which one was his? It's like Mr. Baseball
Mr.
or
Baseball.
Yeah. No, we didn't talk about that one. We talked
Where he
about
went to Japan.
Yeah, we talked about Major League,
Yeah.
and that was another one that while we were watching it, there's the coach that's like this
Yeah.
another character that's like a small character in that movie, but like I guess you would say he's probably the only one with real common sense. So it's another one that whenever he would pop up, you would say, I like that guy.
He was also in Bull Durham.
What was he? Was he the coach in Bull Durham too? I always remember.
think so.
I always remember Robert Wall in that.
He
But
was-
he was like the assistant coach. He was the
Right.
Yeah, they're lollygaggers.
Oh,
Like,
no, he wasn't the manager.
I don't think he was.
I got him confused.
he's in Major League though.
He's in Major League.
Yeah.
He was also he was
He had a voice like this.
Don Johnson's father in
Miami Vice.
the one that was filmed in San Francisco.
Oh, Nash Bridges.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was his father. in
Okay.
that. And he's in. What else was he in? He was in several
Yeah.
different things.
But you
he
like
was in some cowboy movies.
yeah. You like baseball movies too, though.
Oh yeah.
I think we've watched Bull Durham quite a bit here in
Yeah,
this
Bull
house.
Durham.
It's a crowd pleaser.
Just all of those. What was the one with Bernie Mac?
Oh yeah, Mr. 3000.
Mr. 3000.
Yeah. Bernie Mac was a funny dude. I haven't seen that one actually since I saw it in the theater. Actually,
been a
I
long
think I
time
saw
since I've seen
Mr.
it.
I think I saw Mr. Baseball in the theater too, actually. But I just don't really remember that much about it.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been
Yeah.
a while since I've seen it too, but it's it was okay.
Yeah.
It was entertainment.
Yeah. I tried watching The Natural like
Yes.
last summer, and it
The
just
Natural gets kind of slow.
it was so slow. People fucking love that movie. They love it. They think it's like the best baseball movie of all time, and I was like, I don't know why it didn't connect for me at all. Like, and I know people super love it. I wanted to love it because everyone loves it. I want to be a joiner.
The very best part of that movie is the very beginning and the very end.
Why? I don't even remember
You
because
just take the two of those and put them together. You got a nice little 30-minute movie. You take all the crap.
Are you
that's
with
in
Are
there.
you with me that all movies are just too long now?
Well,
I think movies are too long. By the way, The Hateful Eight's really long, but it doesn't feel really long.
that's long movies. Long movies are the original Ben-Hur.
Yeah, that's long.
We had an intermission in
Yeah.
that movie.
Hateful Eight has an intermission.
Yeah. Well, Ben-Hur, I've forgotten how long it was, but it was really long.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you see that one in the theater?
yeah. I saw that at Parkside in El Sobrani
Okay.
back when it was new.
Yeah. You also mentioned that you had seen The Tingler in the theater because we
Yes.
were talking about Vincent Price.
Yes.
Did the seats have the buzzers?
No.
Like no.
No.
No, they were just showing the
That's-
movie.
They didn't have technology like that
Yeah.
then.
No, they did.
They may have had
They
the
did, but I
technology.
think it was certain theaters were rigged for that sort of thing. Not every theater. You know, we just watched a Vincent Price movie that you would actually really like. Well, he's not the star; he's like a co-star, and it has Robert Mitchum, and Jane Russell, and it's called His Kind of Woman.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's really, really good. I was thinking about buying it on DVD, so then I'll do that, and I'll just bring it out and loan it to you. Because it's really, really good. Like, it's got serious parts, but it's actually just kind of fun, and, like, Vincent Price is really good in it, and I like Robert Mitchum a lot. So, I also watched...
then you should like El Dorado.
Yeah, I probably would. Maybe that's the one. Maybe I'll like that one.
Robert Mitchum is the drunk.
Yeah. I haven't seen...
He's the Dean Martin.
He's the Dean Martin. I'll probably be into it. I haven't seen a lot of John Wayne movies. I've seen Stagecoach, and I've seen The Searchers, which we were just talking about the other day, which was super good. Yeah. I like both of those movies very much, but like I don't sit around and watch John Wayne movies.
I have a whole box set.
I know. I'm actually, you were showing me the box set and I was like, did I buy this for you or did you buy it?
I think your mother bought it.
Okay.
I
think I bought you a Clint Eastwood box set.
I don't remember.
I run out of gift ideas for you, Dad.
If you had, I would have that. I don't think I have that.
That's weird. Then maybe I bought the John Wayne
you
one.
Have bought me a smaller.
Actually, Mom and I might have gone in together.
There's a smaller John Wayne one.
Maybe that's the one.
So maybe that's the one you got me. It's like 6 or 7 movies or something, 8 movies. But it's got some of the.
Well, that's how I shop for you, Dad. I was like, well, what Giants shit can I get him? Oh, I got him all the Giants shit. Well, he likes John Wayne. He likes Clint Eastwood.
Hey, whatever.
Dirty Harry's actually on my list to watch soon because my friend Beegs and I are watching movies that were filmed in San Francisco that aren't like Bullet and Vertigo because those are the ones that everyone talks about. So we watched The Presidio with Sean Connery and Mark Harmon. Mm-hmm. It's not a very good movie, but it was really fun to watch. And then
it's entertainment.
Yeah, and we watched The Conversation with Gene Hackman. Have you seen that one? It's like Francis Ford Coppola, and it's got Gene Hackman and Cindy Williams. And, God, what's that guy's name? The guy who was in, like, The Deer Hunter and Godfather 2 and Dog Day After John Cazale or Cazale. He was, like, you would see him and you'd be like, oh, that guy. Here.
John Voight was in it, wasn't he?
Mm-mm.
No?
This guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in it. It was really, really good movie. And then we're gonna watch Dirty Harry. That's on the list too. So we're working our way through these kind of.
Well, you got to admit, there's some good lines that come out of his movies.
Clint Eastwood movies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not shitting on the movie. I don't even know if I've seen Dirty Harry, to be honest.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I've seen parts of it for sure. I think I saw the Deadpool.
I was going to say, didn't he do the original Deadpool?
Yeah. Not to be confused with the comic book movie that's out right now.
Yeah,
yeah, when did the Deadpool, that came out in like 80, was that 88? 80?
I have no idea.
88. Look at me. Good memory. I remember a lot of random shit. Before there was IMDb.
Well, let's see.
You used to call me and ask me, like, who's that guy in the movie that's wears the hat and has the thing? Yeah. And I'm like, Nicolas Cage? Yes, it's Nicolas Cage. Not Nicolas Cage, but it was somebody. Yeah. What other movies should we talk about? What are some of your other favorites?
I don't know.
Have you seen anything recently that you really like besides those dad movies?
I don't think I've taken time to sit down and watch anything.
You've been busy.
I'm always busy.
You are always busy.
I'll slow down one of these days.
No, you won't.
I'm slower now than I was.
You won't slow down.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You really won't. Well, this was good, though, because then I like that we have a record of our movie conversation. Do you want to ask me about some movies?
About some movies?
Or anything. You've got me here, like, on the record. Yeah, David and I were talking yesterday about how he's like, I definitely got my sense of humor from you, is what he was saying. And I don't know if he meant that as a compliment or not, but I took it as one.
You know that all comes from your grandfather.
Yeah. We can be really loud. It can be a little rude.
I don't have a problem with that.
I know you don't. We could be a little crass.
Don't have a problem with that either.
No. You know, nothing's above a joke. You know, I guess that's from Grandpa to you to me. I'm carrying on the family tradition.
I told some of his old jokes Friday.
And I'm sure they got big laughs. Grandpa was a funny man.
Yep.
You go somewhere and he'd be surrounded with an audience.
He heard every joke in the world.
Yeah. Well, he was super old.
He wasn't that old.
No. Well, this was really fun, Dad. Thanks for coming on my stupid show.
Well, actually, I didn't come on your show. You came to me.
I did come to you. We're in your house, but you said yes. Like, I asked you, and you were like, why would I do that? And then next thing you know, you're whipping out your calendar and trying to find, like, a good date to make it happen. And I appreciate that because I think that, you know, it would have been easy to be like, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
I can still say that.
You totally could. But it's too late now. I've got 56 minutes of you talking. Too bad.
Hey, it is what it is. We'll deal with it.
Yeah, but it was really fun. I like talking about movies with you.
Well, we'll have to think of some more sometime.
Yeah, well, you should come back on and we'll talk about a different movie.
Yeah, I'll try to think back. Go back through my
We could do another.
banks.
We could do another John Wayne or another movie from the 70s that we watched a lot back in the day. The Cat from Outer Space. You want to watch that? Do you remember we used to watch The Cat from Outer Space? And it had like Sandy Duncan in it and like a cat with a collar that lights up. I remember that being on a lot too. I think maybe we taped it off something. It was a kid movie.
Cat from Outer Space. I just barely remember Sandy Duncan. But I do.
Yeah. Or we could talk about TV shows because one of the other things we actually do have in common is we super like cop shows.
Yeah.
That's one of the other things that we have in common. Like The Shield and The Wire and...
Yeah. All the good ones. Which
Yeah.
they just run them so long and then quit.
Yeah.
Which is probably smart on their part.
Right. I think Homicide. You watched Homicide too. I think we watched...
Don't remember that one.
all the Law and Orders.
Watched a lot of the Law and Order.
The original. You and I used to watch...
Yeah.
I had like a box set of the original, like the first couple of seasons, and I was watching it, and I was like, damn, it's like a totally different show then.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like watching NCIS now.
I have to take your word for it.
And I think the only original cast member anymore on there, now that Abby's gone, is
Right.
Mark Harmon.
Yeah. What's funny is I don't watch NCIS, but it's on when I come over here, so like I'm aware of like who's on it and who's not on it. But I knew who she was, and I actually saw like a headline that like tonight was like her last episode or something, and I was like, oh shit, she's leaving the show? But I don't watch the show, so I don't know why I cared. It's super weird.
Hey, whatever.
I'm all, Dad will be so disappointed.
Nah, everything moves on. They probably should have, bagged the show a few years ago.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to keep it going.
Yeah.
So it would be like the Roseanne show without Roseanne.
Yeah. Well, maybe they could do that.
They're trying to do it, I heard.
But I think she owns the show. I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't been.
I heard they're trying to do something.
Well, they've got
because of all the politics stuff that's going on.
She's Well, it's got good people. Like, John Goodman's awesome.
Well, John Goodman's
And
good.
Laurie
He's
Metcalf.
good in everything
Yeah,
he did.
John Goodman's one of those actors. See, now this is a whole other podcast that we could do about, like, people, like, when you see their name in the credits, you're like, awesome. And John Goodman's one of those people. Like, you know, he's not, like, big star. He's not a Harrison Ford. He's not, he's not, like, name above the title super... I mean, people love John Goodman. They know who he is, but he's not that kind of movie star.
Right.
But he's one of those people that when you see his name in the credits, you're like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I love John Goodman. You know he's going to be good. And he's one of those people.
He's good at everything he does.
Yeah. I used to say that about, before, like, he kind of started winning a lot of awards and stuff. Philip Seymour Hoffman was like that. When I would see his name in the credits, I was like, that's going to be awesome. But he started winning Oscars, and he was a big name until he died. But he's that kind of actor. And I think, I'm like, who else is like that? I mean, Morgan Freeman used to be like that, but now he's a big star.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of actor that didn't necessarily have lead roles, I guess, is what I'm thinking of.
It's all good.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to end it here then, and I'll pester you to come on again sometime. Okay. I have to do this little outro part where I say, you can find the Dorking Out Show at dorkingoutshow.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Dorking Out Show. You can follow me on Twitter at The Sonia Show, or follow me on my blog at thesoniashow.com. You cannot find my dad on social media at all. No. So if you have things you want to say to him, you're going to have to contact me and I'll just pass it along. I could print it out for you and, like, mail it to you, or...
It's the way it is.
I know that, you know, you're probably doing podcasts, like, all the time, Dad, so I'm glad that you took time out of your busy podcasting schedule.
I'm glad you have that in your mind.
That you came on my show. I appreciate it.
It's okay. Anytime.
You know I love you, Dad.
Yeah, I love you, too.
Oh, and I got that on recording, everybody. My dad loves me. All right.
Don't pass it around. You'll ruin my image.
All right. Bye, everybody.